Alright, well, welcome back to another edition of the High Desert Ranch channel. I'm Robert. Welcome if you're new. If you're coming back, thank you and appreciate your support. Today I'm going to be talking about hog pens and how to build you probably the best hog pen money can buy, or the least money can buy, but still give you some strength and something to keep that's going to last for a lot of years. So come along, join me as we discuss hog pens, beginner's guide to hog pens, or hog pens 101, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so as you can see, I've got these two hog pens built, and then I've got capacity to do several more. So I'll get into that another time, but I just wanted to show you what a hog pen needs to look like. You'll probably notice a lot of times on YouTube, people try and go really cheap, sleazy, but when it comes to hogs, you got to build you a strong gates, strong sheds, and strong fences. Otherwise, they're going to get out. Now these guys right here, they're just going to be feeders, but one of them is end up going to be a gilt. And then eventually come next year, within a year from now, I'm going to have a few more sows and then a boar. So when it comes to those animals, you got to build something strong. When you're talking several hundred pounds, it has to be strong. Otherwise, you're going to be having problems. They're going to be getting out, destroying the neighbors' fences, destroying their garden, and it's one of those things of hogs are just destructive by nature, not because they want to be destructive, just because they root and they're powerful. And so let's just start over here with, I combine the two. Just for the efficiency of design, I have them sharing a wall. You can have some space in between so you can walk down the middle, but you want to start out with a good solid corner post. These are old power poles you can pick up from like a local utility company. Sometimes they're free, sometimes you got to pay $30–40 for an old power pole, but definitely worth the money. And these are buried 3 to 4 feet in the ground. If you don't bury them 3 to 4 feet in the ground, again, you get that 400 or 500 pound boar or sow. They're going to push against that fence, and you're going to have issues. And this is just some hog paneling. I did go a little bit cheaper. So this is like cattle panel, where you can see down at the bottom, it's got just a little bit tighter fencing, and that's why I actually had to use this paneling for these piglets, just because they're a little bit smaller and they can still squeeze through. But you're able to get away with just this kind of paneling. I did buy some actual hog panel. It's going to be about 3 feet, so it's going to be a little bit shorter, so you need to run sort of some sort of barbed wire or some hot wire if you're going to do hog paneling, because 3 feet is not going to be enough to keep a full-grown boar or sow, and they're going to get out. So you got your corner posts and then your hog panel. I did this. You'll notice I've got cedar posts except for right here. I did a T-post because every other year or so I've got to be able to get a skid steer in here to clean out the hog pen, muck it out. So I use a T-post so it's easy to pull out of the ground with a T-post puller. But then I've got these cedar posts, which out here we've got a lot of cedar trees here, which are extremely hardy and durable. And so I took these cedar posts, and believe it or not, they're pretty heavy. They range anywhere from 30 to 35 to 75 pounds a piece. And so I buried these, again, 3 to 4 feet in the ground. And so they're sturdy. They'll get more solid as time goes on. And then moving on to, so that's questions. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section and I'll answer, because I know I'm going to forget stuff. So, and with the watering trough, I found an old plastic drum, 55-gallon drum, and I cut it in half, which will work for these piglets. You'll notice I had to tilt it a little bit just so they could be able to get to the water. So if you're going to do smaller piglets, which when I get to building a fairwing pen, you're going to want to have these buckets a little bit shorter. But so I cut these barrels in half, and then you'll notice right here I put these thread all pieces in here. with some washers and nuts, and that prevents the pigs from laying in the water. It keeps the water cleaner and it keeps them from getting in there. And then I just use this strip to then bolt against the fence. So it's quick and easy. Every couple days I can dump out the water, clean it up, really nice. And then Isabel, if you want to kind of show them, I put them on concrete because pigs, again, they like to root, they like to just do their thing. So these are a couple 100-pound pieces of concrete that I put them on, so it keeps things a little bit cleaner, and just, yeah, it helps overall. So some people, I'm going to try it out one of these days. I did get some auto feeders right here. This will hold about 175 pounds, which you won't have to refill for quite several days if you're using hogs. Some people just do kind of what I did with the water troughs, and that's just cut a barrel and use that to feed. I don't know if there's really any bad way. I would like to experiment with that to see if I get a difference in the feed, the growth rate of the hogs. And I too put those on concrete. So follow me this way. I built these sheds. Built these sheds out of old tin. They just don't make them like they used to. And you can see right here, there's this fence, and then the hog pens are going to go down this way. So when it comes time to move out the hogs, I'm actually going to build a loading ramp over here so we can just open up these gates, as you can see, and then we can get the hogs and just kind of move them from hog pen to hog pen, or we can move them up onto a loading tray, which is going to be key. So it's kind of our loading chute alley right here. As you can see, if she can get down on this, this is kind of what hog panel looks like. So when I go to install hog panel in the farrowing pens, you can see how much tighter the gaps are, so piglets can't get out as easy versus the cattle panel. But the cost is almost double, or I shouldn't say double, but about 75% more to do hog panels versus cow panels. So it all comes down to cost. So all right, so keep coming this way. So this gives you an idea, like a good all-around view. So I just had to use this tin just because the hogs are still a little too small, especially that first group of 5. They were squeezing through, and I just don't want them to get out. I'm here a few minutes away from the house. So here's a good view of the hog pen, or excuse me, the hog shed. And all right, so as you can see, it's a 3-sided, and I have it facing east because by doing so, you can see it gets the morning sun, which around here, we're here in the mountains, above 6,000 feet, so we get really cold winters, and there's really only a few months out of the year where it's not cold. But here even in the morning, so come tomorrow morning, we're going to be down here in the 30s, and we're here in the middle of June. So your hogs will appreciate that, to be able to get some morning sun facing east. But the nice part is it goes west. As the sun goes to the west, they'll not only get shade here, but then the shed will act as a shade in the afternoon sun. So because pigs, they don't have a way like us to keep cool through sweat and whatnot. So anyways, so I used some rough cut lumber, and you can see I used power poles again. I did a power pole in each corner, and I put those, again, almost 4 feet in the ground. Again, you got to build it strong and sturdy. And then I used old 2x6 rough cut lumber. You've got to use 2x6 because when you're getting even a 250, 300-pound feeder hog, they're going to be able to push. But if you put a boar or a sow in there, they're going to push against those boards, and they're going to snap, and they're going to go right through the side of your shed. So 2x4s aren't adequate or suitable, so you definitely need some 2x6. And as you can see, I did very little on the outside, just enough to be able to screw the board, the tin into. But here on the inside, I kept all the boards really tight, just to be able to make it so it gives them a little bit more protection and insulation, but that way they can't push and go out the side of your tin and ruin your tin. So these pens right here, they're 16 by 24, so 16 feet wide by 24 feet deep. You're going to be okay to do 4 or 5 hogs, even 6 hogs at least at a time. There's this big myth on YouTube that you need several acres per hog, which that's fine, I guess, but if you want your pasture destroyed, they will destroy your pasture given enough time. So, and that too is hogs don't really need a lot of space. That's what's great about hogs is even for the poor working man, they don't have to have a lot of space, yet they can raise some meat for themselves. Because the bigger pen that you have, they're just walking off weight. And your goal is to get your hogs to finishing weight as fast and as quickly as possible. The target weight is about 250 pounds. You can even go as high as 300, but you just want to get your feed conversion rate perfect. And so the bigger pen you have, they're just walking off that weight. So trying to think, I don't know if there's any other questions I can think of, but oh, as far as these posts, make sure you have posts every 4 foot in the ground. I do have this power pole to kind of break it up in the middle. So as you can see, most of my design I'll be using the sheds as part of my wall. So again, that helps cut down on cost. It helps also to give it strength. So you want a pole every 4 foot in the ground. You know, T-posts work, but if you just want something that's going to be solid and durable, I would just go with you know, with some strong cedar posts, or with these old power poles. You can even get away with 4-inch diameter wood poles that have been treated for bugs. So again, if you have any other questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope this was a great guide, tutorial, beginner's guide to hog pens. And yeah, I hope that I was your ticket to help escape the ordinary today and find out just what it's like to live the high life here in the high desert of the Intermountain West, only on the high desert, here on the High Desert Ranch channel. Hey, ooh, that sun is hot.